one, the oversolder back, and this is going to be kind of, this is actually the road to being good at 2x2 part 3. I know I said I was going to talk about Ortega, but I thought this is kind of needed in the middle, just to talk about a couple tips and tricks to make the method that we're using right now the absolute best. So first of all, I think at this point you really need some good hardware. So in terms of good hardware, I mean something like a Wapo, a Chuan, a Wuxia M, or a Valk 2. These ones, you can use this one. This is the, let me see over here. Where is it? This is the Kung Fu Yuhan. I think you should be able to move on from this by this point once you're sub 10, but you don't have to. I can definitely get sub 10 with this, obviously, but if you're looking to get some better hardware, these are your best bet. And I talk about more about that in my 2x2 hardware vid. So let's go over a couple things that you really should be doing. Number 1, have good finger tricks. Don't be doing stuff like this. You don't use wrist turns unless it's on R. This is just because you can see it's way faster to use actual finger tricks. And I know a lot of people were kind of confused about that not a lot. Some people might have when I was doing the previous video. This is kind of following up on that, and for those of you who you can use wrist, I don't think wrist turns are something that you should ever be using. At this point, you really need to know how to do finger tricks and stuff like that. And most importantly with your finger tricks is being able to do something like this. That is the sexy move, and we use it in multiple different occasions. We use it when making our layer, or at least when I teach beginners that's how I do it. And here's the basic finger trick for it. We're going to go up like this. Use our index finger back here to push over. We're going to pull down, and then we're going to use this index finger back here on our left hand and push like that. So in one motion, it will look like this. If we do it fast, it's going to go like that. And that's just something that you should be good at in general. You should also be able to know how to finger trick all of your algorithms. I do a little section on that at the end of my other video, the road to sub 10, the road to being good at 2x2 sub 10. You don't absolutely need them to get sub 10, but you really should know them at that point, because once we start diving into Ortega, finger tricks are going to become really important, and you don't want to have to relearn algorithms the bad way. The next most important thing, and probably the most important thing, is knowing how to be color neutral. So a lot of you probably are color neutral just because it's 2x2, and a lot of you probably tried to experiment with that or did something with it. But if not, that's fine. So what I mean by being color neutral, for those of you who don't know, is being able to make a layer using any color. So I'm going to set up just a little case over here. Okay, like this. So you see that my orange is already almost done. I have all of this over here, and I just need to insert this one more. A lot of people, what they will do is they'll go immediately to white, because this is the color they learned on, and then solve it like this. This is a really bad case for white, and probably something you should never do. Because to solve this optimally, it's going to be something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that. That would take like a solid 2 seconds at least. However, if we had done orange, it would have been something like 1, 2, 3. And we have orange on bottom. color neutrality is something that will honestly take you like 15 minutes to learn. Because you're at such a stage where it's not, 2x2 is a thing that it's not difficult to be color neutral, because it's not like you have to recognize anything besides the bottom layer, and then it's just patterns on the top. Everyone, I think at this point, should be starting how to know this, and before you do Ortega, I'm gonna pretty much highly recommend that you do color neutrality. Trying to think if there's anything else. Oh yes, lubrication. So a lot of people talk about lube, especially for 3x3s, and you might have heard something about this. However, 2x2 is one of those things where we don't really use a lot of lube. The best 2x2 on the market, or one of them at least, is the Angstrom Wapo, and this is where they put really fancy lubes in this and stuff. But honestly, you could pick up something like I think like Lubical. I use all cubicle lubes, which are like Angstroms and Lubical Silk, DNM, stuff like that. I'll have a video talking about lubes eventually, but for now, I would say you're good. You don't really need to lubricate your cube. It's really nice if you should, but it's not something that's required of you, because, like, this is my drive cube, and it's just fine. Please ignore the phone. My apologies about that. I don't know if you can hear it. But I would say those are probably the 3 biggest things that I talked about, and those should really help you just be color neutral and have good finger tricks. Those are the 2 biggest things. If you'd like to lubricate, I'll have a video talking about lubrication for 2x2 that I'm not really going to discuss here, because this is on the road to being good at 2x2. This is talking more about techniques at being good at 2x2, not hardware. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. In the next video, which is episode 4, I will actually be talking about how to get good at Ortega. Well, not how to get good at Ortega, but more so how to do Ortega and what it's like.